Texas A&M rolled into Columbia, Missouri yesterday and rolled through Missouri yesterday. Final score 38-17 with Bob the Builder in the north end zone. A&M ran all over Mizzou. Now, to be fair, Missouri also had their fair share of success on the ground. We'll break it down from both sides of this, but A&M just continues to look like a wagon. And every single week, I feel like we have to acknowledge what A&M has been and what they are right now. You can trust this version of A&M. Missouri, you got to have more ways to win football games. We'll break it all down. Before we do that, though, if you're an A&M fan, again, we picked y'all in the preseason to be in the college football playoff. Stood on the front lines, took bullets in the armor for multiple months in a row leading up to and through SEC Media Days. And right now, things are looking pretty good when it comes to that prediction. So what I'm trying to say is we're not jumping on the bandwagon. This bandwagon's been rolling for a while now. If you're an A&M fan, make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate y'all in advance for being dialed because college football never stops. Neither does this show. So here's the thing. We as college football fans have a lot of great traits. One of those traits is we're a little bit slow to trust. Like whenever we see a logo doing things that a logo hasn't historically done, we're like, hey, let me see a little bit more before I just blindly trust you. Like, hey, we got a dog working at the DMV right now. That doesn't seem normal. Why is that happening? Why does that dog have a vest on behind the counter telling me my license is expired? That doesn't totally track with me. So you give it more time, you let it sit, and eventually, more often than not, as college football fans, our sense of smell when it comes to logos being a little bit fugazi is usually pretty good. So we're seeing A&M right now across the college football public, and people are saying Texas A&M are top 3 in the country. Wait a second, that A&M logo usually has an 8 and a 4 next to it. This doesn't pass the smell test, JD. I don't know if I trust that. And again, I don't think you're wrong for having that sentiment about yourself, given A&M's history, but you can trust what A&M is right now. The reason why I feel that way, they do a lot of things that I would deem as trustworthy, things that are dependable. Like when you watch A&M play, you shouldn't be holding your breath of, do they have it today? Man, I really hope that X, Y, and Z shows up. Like the run game that A&M has is going to show up every single weekend. That defense, it might look different week in and week out, but whether it's that front seven getting after the backfield or whether it's that secondary showing up in a big way, they're going to be good enough in a timely fashion to allow you to win the football game. Marcel Reed, again, it's going to look different every single week, but he's going to make specific plays to allow you to be successful as an offense. The check to Concepcion in the screen game is a great example. Like you watched Marcel Reed yesterday, it didn't have like a highlight reel kind of day. It wasn't like a plant the flag, Marcel Reed going to New York City kind of day, but he finished 20 for 29. Screen pass to Concepcion was, I think, arguably the play of the day for A&M in terms of what allowed them to really get rolling in that game. And he just did what was asked of him. It is his offense. He operates the whole machine that is the Aggie offense. More on that in a second. Nothing that A&M did was like overly exotic or creative or sleight of hand. It was just like, we got really good football players. We're going to put the ball in their hands. We're going to let them impact this game as much as possible. And then we'll look up at the end of the 4 quarters and see where we're at. And that was A&M. Like they ran for 200 yards. Even without the fake punt, they ran for right around 200 yards. Nothing that cheeky about it. Colin Klein called a great game. Offensive line was borderline dominant against Missouri up front. That's a really good front seven in Mizzou. Like, you don't need to be all that creative if you're A&M to win football games and be successful on the offensive side. So going back to what I said, it's about the personnel for A&M. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's like 5 or 6. So we could sit here and talk about Bethel Roman, I told you Concepcion, Craver, Marcel Reed, Ruben Owens. When Le'Veon Moss gets back healthy, good night. There's so many ways for A&M to be successful. And so back to what I was saying on top of this thing, if you're a college football fan, you can trust personnel, you can trust physicality, you can trust run game, and you're not trusting that A&M is going to just out-scheme everybody. They have better players than I think the majority of teams they're going to play. You can trust that. Now, it helps you got a great offensive coordinator in Colin Klein, but that's not what you're banking on when you wake up on a Saturday morning to watch your Aggies. That's a great place to be. Now, I do think when you talk about Marcel Reed, you're continuing to see him evolve within this offense, in my estimation. Like the command he has of the offense from when he started this season to where he's at now, you could tell he had a great gauge going back to that screenplay. He sees Mizzou crowding the line of scrimmage. You see him check with Concepcion. Ball is out, 48 yards to the crib. Marcel Reed, I know it goes down as a 48-yard touchdown pass. He should get the receiving yards too for that one. He perfectly diagnosed the defense, gets him in the right play, has it all at his fingertips to get A&M in a spot to be successful. Y'all, that is That is evolution kind of stuff from Marcel Reed. He is still continuing to progress and get better. And so the reason why that's important, as you continue to evolve as an offense, you have the personnel to keep people guessing. You're a step ahead of other people and having them guessing as a defense. Like, it's going to be a very difficult task to keep A&M at bay offensively. Again, they're too deep and they have too much within this offense. If they can keep evolving schematically because of where Marcel Reed is allowing them to go, that's big time. That is massive. And another breath, as much as we speak to the ceiling there, it raises the floor of A&M as a football team. Because as your quarterback evolves, in theory, then you would see less mistakes from a one Marcel Reed over the course of the next however many games. A&M as a roster is at the point where if you just get mistake-free play from your quarterback, you're going to be tough to beat because of what I keep going back to the personnel. The defense is awesome. The playmakers are awesome. If you don't have Marcel Reed with the gutter ball game out here, who's beating A&M? Now, there's a lot of teams that will give A&M a great football game, but, like, get us to the fourth quarter is what I'm saying if I'm an A&M fan. Get us to the fourth quarter with that dude at quarterback, with that front seven, with the playmakers I've talked about 4 or 5 times now throughout this segment. That's all I'm looking for if I'm an A&M fan. And I also think, going to the cultural side of this, we talk a lot about what A&M has been, and I feel like we beat that dead horse now. I mean, gosh, that poor horse, we've pulverized. It's horse smoothie right now with how many times we've beat it. But I think Mike Elko and the way he is wired, like, he doesn't care about the past either. And I honestly, like, listening to him in a press conference, I love his demeanor if I'm an A&M fan. Because you just won 38-17 in a road environment in kind of a weird spot with the Mizzou team that's playing a freshman quarterback, had all the potential in the world to be kind of scrappy and frisky and all those things. And Mike Elko's in there just, like, frustrated about how many yards they gave up on the ground. Mike Elko's in there just, like, annoyed about what the defense didn't do in the second half, how they didn't answer the call to action on the defensive line. Like, he's in there frustrated. And that, to me, just screams Mike Elko, again, is a process guy. Results are great. He'll take the results. They'll make sure they mention the results, especially on the recruiting show. They'll pitch results on that side of things to get better players to College Station and prove that, this thing is heading in one direction. But Mike Elko is like, no. I want to see us better on the defensive line in the second half. I want us to execute at a higher level. I want us to go out there and, like, play to our standard. Final score is the final score. He's frustrated about what they didn't do in the second half. He's frustrated about the questions he's getting about old A&M. He's like, I don't know. Like, y'all keep asking me about the second this old A&M team. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's November right now, and we got a chance to go make the college football playoff. Like, save it. So I think that demeanor in itself just is a good peek into, like, the overall psyche of this A&M football team. If they're not going to be satisfied or complacent or content, again, A&M's got all the firepower in the world to be a problem for everyone else here down the stretch. So it feels like to me A&M's going to be in that game in Atlanta, barring something wildly unforeseen. They'll have a great game with Texas there to finish the season. But the way that A&M's rolling right now, it feels like it's a matter of time before this team, over the course of a 4-quarter game, reaches their flow state. Like I was telling Cato before we got rolling here, I'm watching A&M, and I don't even realize how much they're winning by until the game's, like, securely out of hand. Because it's not like it's just explosive play after explosive play, and now you get Joe Tessitore losing his mind and saying A&M is pouring it on. Like, you get some of those moments in, like, the third or fourth quarter, but it's not like A&M's just walking out of those doors in the first half and it's, wow, they've overwhelmed Missouri completely. And maybe that's happening, but it sneaks up on you. And so going back to my point here, it's a matter of time watching this A&M team over the course of the season where they find their footing, they get right, and they start throwing haymakers. And when they hit that mode, I think they're one of, if not the best team in college football. I know you talk about Ohio State. It's a fair point. I'll talk about Ohio State. I think they are rightfully number one right now. But A&M, when they're on, I don't think there's a team in college football outside of Ohio State that has the juice to go toe-to-toe with them. So going back to what I said about them being in Atlanta, if they hit that flow state early in a 4-quarter game against Alabama, A&M's going to be very tough to beat. Not a prediction, but they're going to be very tough to beat. Really quick here on Missouri, did a phenomenal job running the football. I mean, Roberts was awesome. I know Ahmad Hardy, people were talking about the touches he didn't get in the second half. I mean, both backs at over 100 yards. I don't think you have any issues with that if you're a Missouri fan. What it came down to is this. Your freshman quarterback went 7 for 22 for 77 yards. It is going to be very tough to beat that offense on the other side of the field when you have those numbers through the air. You have to have multiple ways to win football games. Period. Mic drop. The end. No other analysis needed. I was a little bit surprised they didn't sprinkle a little bit more Matt Zollers in the run game there. Would have liked to see that. Now, I also understand, I say that out loud, you're like, JD, got a couple of walk-ons behind Matt Zollers. No, we don't want more quarterback design run. I hear you. As I zoom out, though, I look at Missouri, I think they need to follow the blueprint of maybe a diet version of what Texas Tech did through the portal or what Ole Miss does through the portal. I'm not saying you can't still recruit at a high level at the high school level if you're Eli Drinkwitz and co. But I look at that roster and I'm like, man, it's going to take a lot of things, I think, to break your way. It's going to take a lot of things to go right to go beat an A&M team like that. Even if Bo Prabula is healthy, in my estimation. Even if you're 110% ready to roll, I think it would take a couple of different things to be on your side to win a four-quarter game. Not saying it couldn't happen, but we keep going back to Missouri, and the first talking point you had for them in the preseason was, hey, schedule's pretty workable. Hey, if Mizzou catches them on the right day, Missouri could be a playoff team. And I'm not saying this is a Missouri hater. I had them at the midway point as a college football playoff team because I was impressed by them. But the more and more information we get on them, I'm like, man, there's a couple of things there that make me nervous. It's not even an all-22 thing. Like, I like the starting 11 for both sides, but when you get into November and depth becomes more of a thing and teams can wear on you, much like A&M did, I think you need to have a little bit more on the roster to go win at the highest level, which is, of course, make the college football playoff and be in the SEC title hunt. So some of this is a little bit hindsight's 2020 because of the way that Missouri's playing with the true freshman quarterback, but you got to have more ways to win, and I think you got to have a little bit more on that roster to go toe-to-toe with the teams that you expect to go toe-to-toe with in the world of college football, much less the SEC. But A&M, they're wagging, they're rolling, and fully expect them to be a playoff team, fully expect them to be in Atlanta for the SEC title game. Say what you want about 8-4 and this and that. Like A&M, they will not be 8-4 this year. They are now 9-0. Aggie fans, Missouri fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Caden Smith on the ones and the twos. Myself, JD Piquel. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.